Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my October TBR, and this month is chosen all by Booktubers. So these are all my friends who are also Booktubers that have chosen my TBR based on books I already own. My want to read shelf on Goodreads is my TBR. It's everything I own physically or ebook version. And so I told them to go through and pick a book they wanted me to read. And so they did. And to be fair, most of them were pretty nice. I expected them to be pretty mean and pick some chonkers of a book, but no, they were all pretty nice to me. We also have a Horrorthon TBR in here, which is a Horrorthon which is a readathon hosted by my friend Lauren from Lauren's Library, and I will link the Horrorthon page down below from Twitter, and you should go and check that out. I also have some buddy reads and some hopeful extra. What is this? Hopeful extras, which are books that I really want to read next month, and I'm hoping to do so. First, I'm going to go through all the books that my friends chose, and then I'll go through my Horrorthon TBR and then the rest. First up from Claire, from Books with Claire, we have A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I suspected her to pick this because I know she really loves this book and she really wants me to read it. She did buy me the ebook version, and it's been so long that I ended up having the physical as well, and I was like, I'm really sorry, I should have done that. I think I'm going to read it in ebook form, not physical, simply because I think it's going to be easier. So I'm really glad I have the ebook form, but I also have the old covers because I hate the new covers. But this book, I don't know much about any of these books, this is going to be fun, but this is about a fae who murders something, slaughtering a wolf, but like all mortars, blah 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 blah. It's the life of a magical creature, and so it comes at a high price, blah blah blah. So basically, she did something she shouldn't have done, and now she's going to pay the price consequences. I'm hoping this is going to have the Cruel Prince vibes, because I really love the Cruel Prince, and I'm hoping this will be kind of like similar, on the same wavelength and things. So that's kind of my hope for this. I really want to. I kind of want to do a reading ACOTAR for the first time reading vlog. If you'd like that, please let me know, because I think that'd be quite fun. Next we have Catherine, who actually doesn't have a booktube channel, so technically isn't a booktuber, but she does do a lot of live book club videos. Every month she does a live video over on Lauren Library's channel, and they discuss their book club pick for the month, so technically she is, you just don't have a channel to subscribe to. But she chose for me Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I am not into sci-fi, and obviously this is like kind of hardcore sci-fi, but based on the sounds of it, it sounds like something I could really get into, as long as it isn't too heavy on the sci-fi aspect, which is a bit stuck up to be like, I hope this sci-fi book isn't that sci-fi, just for my benefit. But I'm hoping I can get through it that way, because the actual concept is so amazing sounding that I'm really hoping it could be like a leeway into sci-fi, because I've tried many times this year already to try and get into sci-fi, and it just never works for me ever. I just clearly cannot gel well with it. I just find it kind of boring, but this one has such a cool prospect that I'm sure it'll be the best way to introduce myself into a little bit more sci-fi, and I'm prepared, I'm ready. So thank you, Catherine, for your choice. Next we have Celeste from the World of Reading, and Celeste chose me Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Now, I've seen a lot of people hype this up, so I'm kind of worried about this book, because I know it's supposedly amazing, which worries me, because then I will then overhype it in my head and expect great things from it, and it won't be that great. And it's easy to say just don't overhype it, but it's me, and I can't help myself. Everybody seems to love this book, so cross your fingers, I will too. I've been getting into romance a lot more recently, so I feel like it could definitely be something I enjoy, and it won't be that hard. And with all these heavy books that you're about to see that I have to read next month, I think a romance might be exactly what I need. On the same wavelength, we have Red, White and Royal Blue, which is chose by Kira from Kira Can Read. I have heard very mixed things about this story. I have the ebook version. It's kind of like, I'll read it one day, fully intending not to read that at all. The issue is that, yes, it's a romance, but it's from royalty, and a lot of negative things that I've heard being said are like that it's just too much. It's very tropey. I'm not sure. I've just heard a lot of reviews, and the things people didn't like is something I'm not gonna like. So it is something I'm nervous for, but it is also something I probably would never have picked up if Kira hadn't told me to do it, and it is on my TBR, so I'm kind of glad she chose it because it'll get it off even if I didn't like it. We'll see. I'm hopeful. I'm nervous. This probably wasn't the best idea. Connor from Connor's Library Corner chose Little Secrets. Now, I'm not surprised about this at all. Connor read this as an ARC from NetGalley months ago, and he was so obsessed that he sent me the Kindle version. He was like, "You've got to read it." And me being me, did not read it. I left it, and he kept saying to me, "Will you please read it? I need to talk to someone about this." And I was like, yeah, I'll read it. Never read it. So when he was like, "Oh, I'll have a look now," I was thinking, I know exactly what you're going to choose, but okay. And he did. He chose Little Secrets, which is good because I need that push. A lot of these are Kindle books, which is really, really good because I really do let my Kindle books slide under the radar because I always focus on my physical books. So this is a great month for this. I'm excited for a thriller on this TBR. There's quite a few thrillers, not too many, but a couple. And so I feel like it'll definitely be a good little easy break because thrillers are really easy to read. They're very fast for me. They're really enjoyable. You can just read them, get through them. And they're either good or they're not. There's not really much to think of in a thriller, in my opinion. I just read and either enjoy or I don't. So I won't have to feel too bad about reading it and thinking every little thing through or anything like that, which is fabulous. I'm really, really excited to read that. Then from Robbie, from Anna's Nose Stuck in a Book, he chose Catching Fire, which is the sequel to The Hunger Games, which I have been meaning to read for so long. Once again, another book that he's been begging me to read. I did a Reading the Hunger Games for the first time reading vlog. I will link it above. And I really enjoyed doing that. That was really a lot of fun. I read The Hunger Games in like one day. I'm going to do another reading vlog for this one because people really wanted it. But it means I've been putting off reading this book because I have not wanted to make that vlog. So I'm glad now that I have no choice because that video was months ago and it's definitely been a long time in between these videos. And I'm pretty sure no one cares anymore, but I'm still going to do it. I've heard that this is the best one. Now, I've watched the films quite a few times and yet no memory of the second two, to be honest. And I only watched them like a couple of months ago. I remember the first one, but the second and the third slips my mind. But I don't remember liking them as much as the first, so by people saying it's the best book, I'm hoping it'll, renew my energy for that second one. But if I'm let down because people have told me it's the best book, I'm going to be so upset. Because I have really high hopes. Then Sophie from Sophie Snow chose Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. Meaning, yes, I will have in fact read 2 Sarah J Maas series this month. Not the full series, obviously. Starting 2 new series. What am I saying? I do think ACOTAR is going to be my thing. I don't think this is going to be my thing. So obviously this is very different. This is very high epic fantasy by the seams of it. And that's not usually my thing. I kind of struggle. My brain doesn't like to think that hard. I'm a simple-minded human. I don't want to think too difficult. Oh my god, I don't want to think at all, apparently. I don't want to think too hard about my reading. When it comes to high or epic fantasy, I really do struggle with that. And you can just tell from the cover this is going to be a lot. But at the same time, this is a lot of people's favourite books. I'm very well prepared to not like this, so I think that'll be really good going into it with low expectations. But I also have read Crescent City and enjoyed the writing style so much that it could mean that even though this isn't my favourite story, the writing style and being back with Sarah J Maas's writing style might just please me so much that it doesn't matter that I don't like the story. There's hope for me. There's real good hope for me here. Then Jade from Paperback to Hardback chose for me to read The Honeymooners. Now I deserve this. I forced her to read this a long time ago, even though I've never read it. No, never read it. I have it on Kindle, but that's it. I bought it and that was the end of that. I never intended to read it. Why do I buy books that I don't intend to read? I don't know, but when they're 99p on Kindle, I just can't help myself. It's just what I do. I'm now going to have to read it. Thanks, Jade. Once again, another romance. Starting to think it's going to be a romance-heavy month, which is not ideal. But they are lighter reads than most, and between all this fantasy and sci-fi and horror that I'm going to have to experience this month, it might be the perfect thing for me. Then we have, as I said, my friend Lauren's Horrorthon Readathon. Now, I'm really excited for Horrorthon. I do not read much horror at all, nor do I really know what counts for horror, so I've constantly been messaging like, oh, does this count? does this count? Everybody I know, I'm like, is this horror? So can I read this for Horrorthon, please? And slowly but surely, I have gathered a TBR. Now, it is only a week long, so you're going to see my TBR and think to yourselves, really, Brooke? Are you serious? I'm probably not going to get through all these, but I am ambitious. And if not anything else, I am motivated. And if that doesn't help me read these 3 very large books, then what will? I say very large, they're not all very large. You'll see. The first book that I'm going to be reading is Imaginary Friend. Now this is a large book and a heavy book. This is 700 pages. Yes, 700 pages. Yay. Do you feel the pain? I have been so excited to read this, and I've wanted to read it over and over again, and then when I found out about Horrorthon, I was like, perfect opportunity, and I've left it, and because I knew when I was going to read it, it's made the wanting to read it even worse. I've had to be like, no, don't pick that up, that is the perfect opportunity for Horrorthon, don't do it. I have picked up the audiobook on Audible for this so that I can read it along at the same time, because I think that will definitely help with such a big book. I did that with Crescent City, which is the only other book I've read of this size this year, and that really helped with that. It helped me get along and progress without feeling like I was reading so much. So I'm hoping this will help me do the same and keep me on track for that week. Problem is with the stupid cover is that it gets your thumbprints on it and they don't come off. Ugh, annoying. The next book that I have is Feed, and this is another big book. It is almost 600 pages. So it just doesn't look as big as this paperback, which is great. That should help. But the prospect of this is that it is a zombie apocalypse, and zombie apocalypse is my thing. I love zombie apocalypse books, shows, movies, TV shows, whatever, anything zombie apocalypse is my jam, and I'm really excited to read this. I'm a little bit concerned about the fact they're going to bring in social media stars, which makes me think there's going to be social media, which I think means they're going to be like a post-apocalyptic world in terms of they've built society back up, which isn't my favourite thing. But I'm going in with an open mind. I'm hoping that the fact I only have a week to read this plus 2 more books will mean I read it fast and get through it, meaning I can't put it off. But I have a real talent of doing that, so I'll probably do it anyway. Also, Fluffy Boy. I think every booktuber under the sun has this at this point, so I will not be surprised if you all have already read this. If you have, let me know what you think. And the last book that I'll be reading for Horrorthon is Meddling Kids. Now this is actually Scooby Doo based, like it's inspired by Scooby Doo and retold as a horror story. And if that isn't exciting, then what is? This is almost 500 pages, meaning another big book. Between all of these, we've got 1,800 pages to read in a week. I mean, definitely doable, but like, also a lot of pages. I'm most excited for Imaginary Friend, but this one comes a really close second. I love Scooby Doo, and I'll watch Scooby Doo whenever I possibly can. So the fact that I can now read it in a more adult form is definitely up my alley. And I think one of them is dead because he looks like a ghost on the front, and that is just pleasing. Then we only have 2 more books. So the first is a buddy read that me and Connor are doing in preparation for the new film on Netflix, and that is Rebecca. I have been desperate to read this, and then I found out it was coming out on Netflix, and the trailer dropped the other day, and I watched it, and I was engrossed. It looked so good. So I was like, right, that drops on, I think it's the 21st of October, so I want to read this at the start of October and make sure that I get through it before the film comes out, because I'm going to read that film the day of premiere, to be honest. I'm not a classical person. I don't read a lot of classics. I'm not very good at the writing style of classics, but the storyline of this one is just too intriguing not to read, and I think I'll get through it pretty well. And even if I don't, then I can watch the film and it'll make up for it anyway. And the final book, which is the hopeful extra, is Clockwork Angel. I just finished City of Glass, which means I can move on to the Infernal Devices before moving back to the Mortal Instruments. And because of that, I enjoyed City of Glass, and I don't want to stop now. I want to keep the momentum going, because otherwise I will never go back to them. So Clockwork Angel is hopefully something I'm going to read next month, maybe even start this month before going into next month. But that's kind of hopeful. The audiobook I have on my library, and I have it for like another 30 something days, so if I can get through this at the start, that'd be great. The audiobooks just really help me because these are really big books, almost 500 pages. And we all know I'm not really a fan of Cassandra Clare's writing style so far, from what I've read. I have heard these are a lot better, but it doesn't change the fact I'm probably not going to like it, meaning I need that audiobook to help me get through. So this is a book that I'm hoping to get to. There's nothing for it. There's no readathon or booktuber pick, but I'm really excited to get to it. That was my October TBR. Thank you so much to all the booktubers that helped me choose my TBR this month. Everyone will be linked in the description down below, along with the Horrorthon page on Twitter. I hope you will come and join because Lauren's put a lot of effort into this and it sounds like it's going to be really good fun. I cannot wait for it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to this point, comment the unicorn emoji and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.